When we talk about the worst franchise in NFL history, there are plenty of choices. You know, talk about the Browns or the Bengals. The Lions certainly stand out in that regard. But in modern history, in the current era of NFL football, the Carolina Panthers make a pretty good case for being the single worst franchise in the league right now. Of course, the owner, David Tepper, what has he done in the last 5 years? He's fired 3 head coaches in midseason. These are the guys he hired. He fired them all midseason. Then he's throwing drinks on fans. It has not been a good look for Carolina. This team went 2-15 last year. They have 5 wins or less 4 times in the last 5 seasons. 7-9 was the good year for Carolina during this span. Last year, the Panthers did not run a single play in 17 games. Didn't run a single play in the fourth quarter with a lead. The 2 games they won both came on last-second game-winning field goals. 9-7, they won one of them. 15-13, the other. It wasn't like the offense did anything in either of those ball games. We talk about the Bryce Young trade, and it doesn't matter if Bryce Young becomes a star right now. The Bryce Young trade is already an absolute disaster. Why? Well, first of all, the second quarterback looked a whole lot better than the first quarterback in the draft last year. And given the capital that Carolina spent, a completely rebuilding team to acquire that pick, given what the number 1 pick in the draft looked like this year with Caleb Williams, I can't say the Bryce Young trade was a good one. Even if he turns out to be a star, which at no point last year did he show any signs of looking like a star. So we have a new GM, Dan Morgan. He's a former Pro Bowl linebacker in Carolina. A new head coach, Dave Canales. He was a Tampa Bay offensive coordinator last year. They've had 9 different starting quarterbacks over the last 6 years. In theory, Bryce Young's supposed to be the only guy if he can stay healthy. Of course, Young last year, 11 touchdowns, 62 sacks, 10 interceptions, 5.5 yards per pass attempt. That's the worst of any starting quarterback in the NFL. None of these are good. All right? So behind Young this year, they have Andy Dalton, 100-year-old Andy Dalton, who, again, I mean, if you needed to win a game, there's worse quarterbacks out there than Andy Dalton. But Andy Dalton's come on. He's on the wrong, is he on the wrong side of 40 now? If not, he's pretty close. And Dalton's a guy, he takes a hit, he's out. Started the backup QB situation in Carolina, not outstanding. So what else do they have? Let's see. The wide receivers, no, they're not there. Adam Thielen's your guy? No. They traded for Deontay Johnson for Pittsburgh. There's a reason the Steelers let him off. The number 1 pick, Xavier Legette from South Carolina. They're really hoping he turns out to be something in terms of a number 1 receiver, because I don't know if he doesn't, if they really have a roster. So a good a receiver that's going to scare defenses on the roster, unless the rookie steps up. They don't. So they did spend money on the offensive line. And in my mind, again, if you're going to start a franchise, offensive line, defensive line, that's where you start. They spent $100 million to sign Robert Hunt from Miami. They gave Damian Lewis from Seattle $53 million. And, of course, they have the 2022 top 10 pick, Ekwonu, my apologies, at left tackle. He had a rough rookie season last year. They're hoping he's going to be better. They do have improved depth on the offensive line. But, again, we're not talking about a franchise that's close to competing for anything. Carolina still looks offensively at or near the bottom of the league, despite some improved depth in a couple of categories. I'll talk about the Panthers' defense, special teams, and schedule just a minute. First, I'm going to ask you guys for one thing. If you like these videos, give me a like. That's all I have. Literally, thank you. I appreciate it. It's already done. If you just one like. Likes make all the difference in YouTube algorithms. We're trying to get hits. Obviously, putting out these 32 NFL team preview videos in early July. The goal is get some attraction. So the like buttons makes all the difference. Thank you. I appreciate it very much. Of course, I do also want to talk about my NFL season win report. I've been doing this report since 2001. Over I think it's 23 previous seasons. 100 wins, 50 losses, 3 pushes. The 5% big ticket reports. 16 wins, 4 losses. So 67% on every play, 80% on the big ticket plays. I take this report seriously. All the info you're getting right here is from the work that I've done already putting out this win report. I encourage you to take advantage of it. You take $20 off my season win report right now. Just use promo code REPORT20 at checkout. Visit my homepage, wt.buzz/TC, or just go to the website, wagertalk.com. Again, use promo code REPORT20 and take $20 off that season win report today, if you are so inclined. If not, give me a like. Thank you. That's all I asked for. Let's talk about this team's defense. So Canales retained the entire defensive staff for Carolina. A lot of times a new head coach in, it's all house cleaning. That's not the case here. Ivero is back as a defensive coordinator, as is his staff. This team only had 11 takeaways last year. 11 takeaways in a 17-game NFL season that was dead last in the NFL. The problem for Carolina, not only have they traded away their number one picks and paying a bunch of head coaches that aren't there anymore and all of that, they're dealing with salary cap issues. All right? They lost their best defensive player, edge rusher Brian Burns. He signed, what did he sign? I forget. The Jets? Somewhere where he's going to have an impact. I can't read my handwriting. I apologize. They also lost their leading tackler from last year, Frankie Luau. He's gone as well. You know, they had 10 players with one or more sacks last year. 2 of those players returned. So there's a rebuilt defense every bit as much as the offense is question mark. Defensive tackles, Derek Brown, Ashawn Robinson, that's a strong duo. You know, when we look at the secondary, a lot of guys that he has played for Ivero before. You know, Jordan Fuller, Nick both signed to play alongside Xavier Woods in the secondary. They played for their DC before. So it's a scenario in which at least he's bringing players in that he's familiar with, that are familiar with him. I mean, this defense has a chance to be okay. You know, it was okay last year. Is it elite? Can number one pick J.C. Horn stay healthy at cornerback? That's been a problem as well. The offense, to me, looks worse on paper than the defense. Neither one looks elite by any stretch of the imagination. Here's what I got. D-O-K-O awful. From a scheduling standpoint, Carolina has it really easy, as does the rest of the NFC South. They play NFC East opponents and AFC West opponents. Their 3 extra games, nothing easy there. Cincinnati, Chicago, Arizona. All 3 teams that are supposed to be better than they were last year. All 3 potentially a lot better than they were last year. Certainly the last 2, Chicago and Arizona, should be. The league is not looking for Carolina to do anything this year. They don't get a Sunday night game. They don't get a Monday night game. You know, their big TV game is a big TV game, a home game in Munich against the Giants that starts at 6 a.m. Here on the left coast. The league is burying the Panthers for good reason. I would only play Carolina under their season win total. What are they looking at there? 5.5s out there, 5s mostly. Don't ask for Panthers to make a big improvement in year 1 of the Dave Canales era. I don't see it happening. Could they be a little bit more competitive? Perhaps. But this team is a long way from being even mediocre. Carolina at or near the bottom of my NFL power ratings heading into the 2024 campaign. If you like these videos, I got 31 more of them. Just click right here on your screen. Pick and choose. I've done all 32 NFL teams, and I'm doing them in July so you guys get the info early. If you like this early content, please give me a thumbs up. Appreciate all the comments. Appreciate all the subscribers to the Wager Talk YouTube channel. Don't forget, promo code REPORT20 gets you my NFL season win report, $20 off. Available right now, wt.buzz/TC or at wagertalk.com. Thanks for watching. Best of luck. Check out the next video coming up now.